The Grand Hall of the Galactic Council was alive with light. Holograms of stars stretched across the domed ceiling, showing fleets of alien warships gliding through the galaxy. Hundreds of alien delegates sat in their jeweled seats, each one glowing in the light of the projection. The chamber was vast, echoing with voices, laughter, and arrogance. At the center stood the council's stage, a wide circle of polished stone where ambassadors from every known species came to speak. Today, the topic was Earth humanity, the newcomers to the stars. The first hologram appeared, showed a vast fleet belonging to the Trashian Empire, endless rows of dreadnoughts, bristling with weapons, their hulls larger than cities. The alien representatives clapped their claws together proudly. "Behold," shouted the Trashian warlord, "this is power. This is what real fleets look like. Let the humans see and tremble." The chamber filled with laughter. Another hologram lit up the room, this one from the Sarakai Dominion. Long silver cruisers glided across the projection, each ship flanked by escort wings. The Sarakai Navy spans 27 sectors, their delegate announced proudly. "Our enemies fall before our engines. What do humans have? Wooden boats, perhaps?" The laughter grew louder. One after another, alien leaders displayed their fleets. The Kroth Horde showed carriers the size of moons. The Sarin League displayed precision strike groups that could vanish and reappear across systems. Each time the crowd cheered and roared. With pride, then came the final projection. A single word lit up in golden letters: humanity. The hologram flickered, and a handful of human ships appeared in the air. They were small, clumsy compared to the alien giants. Their engines burned with old blue fire, instead of the sleek, glowing cores of the others. Their numbers were few, barely a dozen. For a second, the chamber was silent. Then the hall erupted. "They are too slow," one alien shouted. "They are too weak." Another howled with laughter. "They have no real FTL ships. How do they dare to sit among us?" The voices blended into a storm of mockery. Delegates slapped their claws, waved their tendrils, and thumped their tails on the floor. The humans were a joke to them, a fragile race trying to wear the mask of the strong. At the edge of the chamber, the human delegation sat. Only 3 ambassadors had come. They wore plain black uniforms, no medals, no golden ornaments. They sat still, their faces calm, while laughter echoed around them. One alien leaned across the rail and sneered, "Perhaps you will borrow ships from your gods, or perhaps you plan to fly here on your little rockets." More laughter. But the human ambassador did not move. His name was Marcus Hale, a tall figure. With sharp eyes, he let the insults wash over him like rain. His 2 aides sat beside him, stiff but silent, their hands folded. The laughter went on, wave after wave, until even the council speaker joined in. Finally, when the noise softened, the speaker raised his long arms. "Let us show our human guests the difference between children and giants," he declared. "Us hold a military parade. Every fleet of the great empires will fly together, so that humanity may see what true strength looks like." The chamber cheered. Delegates rose to their feet, calling for a show of power, a celebration of dominance. They wanted the humans to feel small, to feel ashamed. The speaker turned to the humans. "What do you say, Ambassador? Will Earth attend this parade of fleets? Will you bring your ships?" Dozens of alien eyes turned to Marcus Hale. His expression did not change. Slowly, he rose from his seat. His boots echoed on the polished stone as he stepped forward, standing at the edge of the stage. The hall grew quiet, waiting for his words. Marcus Hale looked around the chamber, at the towering delegates, the glowing holograms of alien fleets, and the sneering faces. His voice was calm, low, but steady. "Do not mistake silence for weakness." The words cut through the air. For a moment, the chamber stilled. The laughter died into uneasy murmurs. The speaker narrowed his eyes. "Is that a threat, Ambassador?" Marcus did not answer, simply held the gaze of the council, then turned and returned to his seat. The silence he left behind was louder than the laughter had been. Around the hall, alien leaders whispered to one another. Some scoffed, dismissing the words as bravado. Others frowned, unsettled by the calmness in the human's eyes. For the first time that day, doubt crept into the chamber. The holograms faded, leaving only the stars on the ceiling. The meeting ended, and the delegates filed out, still buzzing with pride, mockery, and questions. The human delegation walked slowly from the chamber, silent as ever. But Marcus Hale's words lingered in the minds of every alien who had heard them. Do not mistake silence for weakness. And in the shadows of the galaxy, far from the Council's eyes, massive shipyards slept beneath dark asteroids. Machines worked in silence. Engines waited to roar. Trill fleets waited for the moment when silence would end. Above the shining world of Veyros, the ceremonial capital of the Galactic Council, the skies turned into oceans of fire. One by one, fleets from every empire arrived, their warships bursting from hyperspace like storms breaking through clouds. The people of the capital gathered in the millions to watch. Towers lit with banners, screens, and glowing symbols displayed the spectacle. The Council had promised a show unlike anything seen before. The galaxy's greatest fleets would march together, side by side, to remind everyone of their strength. The first to arrive were the Trashans. Their dreadnoughts stretched 4 kilometers, hulks of black metal crawling with weapons. Each ship carried entire armies within its walls. The crowds gasped as the shadow of the lead ship blotted out the stars. Then came the Sarakai Dominion. Silver cruisers streaked in, their engines leaving long arcs of light. They formed perfect formations, flawless geometry in the void, like dancers in the sky. Every maneuver was sharp, every line exact. The Krolth horde thundered into orbit next. Their carriers were monstrous, armored like beasts. From their bays poured wings of smaller raiders swarming like hornets around their colossal guardians. The people cheered wildly, the sky alive with buzzing squadrons. The Saren League followed, their stealth ships flickering into sight like ghosts. One moment invisible, the next gleaming in dark metal. They vanished and reappeared, leaving ripples of distortion across the void. The crowds shivered with awe, and more fleets came. The hall was alive with names, banners, histories. The Zarnok Swarm, the Ithri Confederacy, the Molten Clans. Every species with pride in ships displayed their power for all to see. In the council balcony high above, the alien leaders stood, smiling and nodding as their fleets filled the heavens. Pride glowed on their faces, their arrogance swelling with each new armada. And in the shadows of the balcony, the humans sat. Ambassador Marcus Hale stood at the railing, his eyes fixed on the sky. His aides, young officers from Earth, looked pale as they watched ship after ship fill the horizon. The fleet stretched so far that the stars themselves were hidden behind walls of steel. "Ambassador," one aide whispered nervously. "They are endless." The other leaned closer. "We should not have come here." "We should not." Marcus raised a hand, silencing them. His expression did not change. His sharp eyes studied the fleets, the formations, the endless power on display. But no fear crossed his face. Down below, the Speaker of the Council raised his arms. His voice, amplified by 1,000 translators, rolled across the capital. "Behold the strength of the galaxy," he thundered. "This is what unity looks like. This is what true power feels like. Let every enemy tremble, and let our guests from Earth learn their place among us." The crowd erupted. Cheers shook the towers. Fireworks flared in the sky. Ships fired ceremonial salvos, blasts of light that streaked across the atmosphere like falling stars. The speaker turned his gaze toward the human balcony. His eyes glittered. "Ambassador Hale, do you see now? You understand the gulf between children and giants?" Every alien I followed, looking up at the human delegation. The moment was meant to humiliate them. Millions of voices, millions of eyes, waited for the human to shrink, to bow, to admit weakness. Marcus Hale did not move. His face was calm, his posture steady. Slowly, he leaned toward the railing, as if studying the fleets more closely. Silence from the humans was heavier than any answer. The speaker frowned. "Will you not speak, Ambassador? Will you not honor the empires before you?" Still, Marcus said nothing. Uneasy murmurs rippled through the balcony. Some aliens sneered, whispering that humans were frozen with fear. Others laughed, pointing at the human silence as proof of their weakness. Yet a few, those who studied faces and voices carefully, noticed something strange. The human ambassador was not trembling. His jaw was not tight with fear. His eyes were not darting like prey. No, Marcus Hale looked as if he were waiting for something. The fleets continued their march, passing in grand formation above the capital. The stars vanished behind endless steel. The people cheered until their throats were raw. The parade ended, but the silence of the humans lingered. When Ambassador Marcus Hale walked away without bowing, without trembling, without even offering flattery, the council chamber felt colder. His words calm, steady, almost casual echoed. In the minds of those who had listened, "You have shown us your strength, and we will remember." For most it was nothing, polite remark, a weak attempt at dignity in the face of giants. But not everyone dismissed it so easily. In the lower halls of the council, where diplomats and aides mingled after the ceremony, whispers began to spread. Did you see his face? The human did not look afraid. Not afraid? We're surrounded by fleets that could crush Earth in an hour. Still, it was strange. His calmness, as if he knew something. The rumors spread like smoke. Smoke always suggested fire. Days later, in the grand markets of Veyros, traders repeated the tale. The humans said nothing during the parade. They walked out without fear. They claimed to have fleets hidden. Most laughed. Hidden fleets from Earth. Possible. The humans had a handful of old ships, slower than light compared to the hyperlanes of great empires. Their colonies were small, scattered, fragile. Their technology was a century behind. And yet the whisper would not die. Some said Earth had been building in secret, far from the eyes of the council. Others claimed humans had discovered ancient ruins and stolen forbidden engines. A few insisted they had met smugglers who swore human ships had been seen in deep spaceships that did not match any design known to the galaxy. The council called these stories foolish. Children's tales, they declared, nothing more. But still, the whispers grew louder. In the council chamber, a meeting of the High Command was called. The Speaker of the Council slammed his hand on the table. "Enough of this nonsense," he barked. "Humans cannot build what they do not have. They cannot hide what they cannot afford. These rumors are poison. They insult the truth we showed them." Sarakai Admiral bowed slightly. "With respect, Speaker, I disagree. Rumors do not spread without reason. I have seen fleets crumble because of whispers. Soldiers doubt themselves. People grow afraid." Speaker narrowed his eyes. "And what would you have us do? Waste resources hunting for fairy tales?" Another voice cut in. "Ah-da-da-da-da-da-da." It belonged to a Saren intelligence chief, her eyes cold and sharp. "Perhaps not hunt," she said, "but watch. If the humans are hiding something, it will show eventually." The counselors muttered among themselves. No one admitted fear, but the word watch settled deep into their thoughts. Far from the capital, in the dark lanes of smuggler stations and forgotten outposts, the rumors grew even stranger. One trader swore he had seen a human ship jump between stars without a hyperlane. Impossible, his listeners scoffed, but his eyes burned with conviction. It appeared where no ship should appear, silent, fast. Gone before I could blink. Another claimed that human agents were buying raw materials and secret metals. Crystals, fuel on a scale far too large for their small colonies. And one drunken mercenary swore he had fought a human vessel in the far reaches. It was small, he growled, but fast. Too fast. My ship's shields cracked in seconds, and then he swallowed, his voice dropping. It vanished. No jump signature, no trace. Nothing. The others laughed, tossing coins at him for a good story. But a few did not laugh. Few listened. Carefully. In hidden corners of the galaxy, some alien leaders began to worry. The Trashan warlords sent scouts to Earth's border, cloaked ships prowling silently in the dark. The Sarakai intelligence network began intercepting human transmissions, searching for signs of secret industry. The Kroth Horde launched raids against human traders, testing their strength. Each time, they found little. The humans defended with weak ships, old weapons, and desperate courage. Nothing more, nothing unusual, and yet the calm voice of Marcus, Hale, still haunted them. On Earth, far away from the watching eyes of the Council, silence reigned in deep underground bunkers. Screens glowed with ancient codes. Engineers worked without rest. Factories hummed beneath oceans and mountains. Dockyards and hidden orbits thundered with secret construction. The rumors were true, but not in the way the galaxy imagined. Humanity had not stolen. Humanity had not begged. Humanity had not stumbled into ruins. Note the humans had built, patiently, quietly, for decades. And now, buried in the black of deep space, their fleets slept. Vast ships with engines no alien had ever seen. Vessels that could leap between stars without hyperlanes, without warning, without trace. Technology so different, so dangerous, that no alien mind had even dreamed of it. FTL without lanes. Freedom without maps. A weapon hidden in silence. And soon, the galaxy would know. Back in the council chamber, as another meeting dragged into the night, one nervous delegate leaned toward the speaker. "Sir," he whispered, "what if the rumors are true?" The speaker slammed his fist down. "Then we will crush them. Do you hear me? Crush them. Humanity is nothing. Their fleets, their ships, their technology, it cannot match the empires of the galaxy." But even as he spoke, his voice cracked, because deep inside he wondered. And wondering was the first crack in power. The whispers would not die. Every council chamber, every trader's market, every military hall echoed with the same quiet question. What if the humans are hiding something? At first it was only rumor, but rumors had power. They made soldiers nervous. They made rulers doubt. And so, the council did what rulers always do when afraid. They sent spies. The first to move were the Sarakai. Masters of shadows, they slipped agents into human space, disguised as traders, scholars, even mercenaries. Their orders were clear. Find evidence. One such agent, a Palite operative named Zaira, docked at a human station orbiting Mars. She expected weakness. Dirty halls, crude technology, sloppy defenses. What she found unsettled her. The station was clean. Its guards were disciplined. The traders moved with quiet order, eyes sharp, hands steady. There was no arrogance, no bluster, only calm. "It's a calm," she wrote in her report. "Humans show unusual discipline for a race considered. Weak, no fear. No panic. They work as if preparing for something." Her message was sent, but it never reached Sarakai High Command. Somewhere between Mars and the Council's core worlds, the transmission vanished, cut off as if swallowed by the void. The Kroth Horde tried next. They did not send spies. They sent raiders. A pack of their warships stormed a small human convoy near the asteroid belts. The humans resisted, but were outnumbered, outgunned. One by one, their freighters burned. But as the Kroth prepared to seize the wreckage, a single human ship appeared. Small, unmarked. It did not broadcast a signal. It did not threaten. It simply opened fire. Beams of light ripped through the raiders' shields, tearing ships apart in seconds. The Kroth panicked. Their fleet scattered. When the survivors told their story, no one believed them. Single human ship destroyed a warpack of the Horde. Impossible. Laughable. A drunken tale. But the fear in the raiders' eyes was real. The Trashan warlords sent scouts, cloaked in stealth. They hid in the cold dark, watching human space from afar. One scout reported strange movements. Huge freighters slipping into the shadow of Earth's moon, never coming out. Others vanishing into empty regions where no colonies were listed. The scout followed. He sent back one last message. "I see. Structures. Too large to be civilian. Dockyards hidden." And then silence. No wreckage. No signal. No trace. The scout ship was gone. Back in the council chamber, Fear began to creep beneath the arrogance. The speaker slammed the reports on the table. Lies. Fabrications. The humans spread these stories themselves to frighten us. But his voice shook. He saw the eyes of the others. The admiral who had once laughed at humanity's weakness now stayed quiet. The intelligence chief who had dismissed the rumors now studied them with sharp, worried eyes. Ships vanish, she said softly. Reports disappear. Whispers grow louder. You cannot silence everything. In hidden corners, some began to believe the worst. They are building in secret. They have weapons we do not understand. They hide their true fleets. And always, the memory of Marcus Hale's voice returned. Do not mistake silence for weakness. Meanwhile, on Earth, silence ruled. The Council thought humanity was passive. They believed Earth was standing, still too weak to act. But in the depths of the oceans, under the ice of Antarctica, and in the dark reaches of space, humanity's work continued. Dockyards the size of cities rose in hidden orbits. Engines glowed with secret fire. Ships slept in shadows, unseen. The rumors were true, but the galaxy had no idea how true. In the farthest edge of space, a Sarakai spy ship caught a glimpse of something it should not have seen. It had followed a faint energy trail, expecting nothing but debris. Instead, it saw a Shaipa, massive shadow against the stars. A ship. The council chamber was quieter now. Gone was the loud laughter that had filled the Grand Hall only weeks ago. Gone were the mocking voices that once called humanity weak. Instead, the air was heavy with unease. Reports piled on the central table. Vanished scouts, broken fleets, spies who never returned. Strange signals from the dark edges of human space. No proof, no clear evidence, only fragments. But fragments were enough to plant fear. The Speaker of the Council pounded the table with his clawed hand. We are letting shadows control us. Humanity is weak. They always were. They always will be. But even as he spoke, he avoided the eyes of the admirals. They were no longer certain. They were weak, whispered Admiral Koresh, her voice low, but weakness does not last forever. Far from the council, in the cold emptiness beyond Jupiter, the truth was stirring. Inside a hidden dockyard, its steel bones buried beneath, the swirling storms of the gas giant, something vast began to move. A ship. Its black hull gleamed with a strange light, absorbing radar scans, bending signals, making it invisible to the galaxy's eyes. Its engines thrummed with quiet power, unlike any drive seen before. On its side was a single name, painted in sharp white letters, Erebus. The first of humanity's silent fleet. For months, no, for years, humanity had built in silence. Had dug dockyards beneath oceans, hidden stations in asteroid fields, cloaked factories under the shadows of moons. The council had mocked them for being slow. But humans were not slow. They were patient, and patience was far more dangerous. On the day of the reveal, the galaxy was not ready. The Trashan warlords had sent another fleet to test human defenses. Dozens of ships, sharp and bristling with weapons, entered the edges of Sol's system. They expected an easy victory at another show of dominance. At first, it seemed true. The Trashan fleet advanced without resistance. Earth remained silent. Mars was quiet. Human colonies sent no fleets to intercept. And then the shadows moved. The first human ship appeared on no scanners. It simply emerged from the dark, sliding between stars like a phantom. Then another. Then 10 more. The Trashans panicked. Their sensors struggled to lock on. Their weapons fired blindly, missing shadows that were already gone. From the void came beams of light, cutting through armor, slicing ships apart in seconds. The Trashans screamed. Their fleet shattered. In less than 5 minutes, an entire war fleet was destroyed, and not a single human ship was lost. News of the massacre reached the council within hours. First, the speaker refused to believe it. False reports, lies, propaganda. But the survivors' recordings left no room for doubt. They showed the black holes of silent ships, the flash of impossible weapons, the destruction of a fleet that should have crushed Earth. The chamber fell silent. No one laughed now. Fear spread like fire. They can hide fleets this size? How many? More are there? What if every shadow hides a human warship? What if we are already surrounded? The galaxy, once proud and arrogant, began to feel hunted. In secret meetings, the Council's admirals admitted the truth. The humans have broken the rules of war. They have built outside the lanes. They have engines we do not understand. They can move where we cannot. One admiral whispered the word no one wanted to say. FTL? At first the others scoffed. No species had ever broken the chains of hyperlanes. It was impossible. But the recordings told a different story. The human ships moved as if the lanes did not exist. They came from nowhere. They vanished into nothing. If it was true, if humanity had discovered faster than light travel beyond the lanes, then the balance of power was broken forever. Back on Earth, the human high command watched in silence. They did not celebrate their victory. They did not boast to the galaxy. Instead, they watched, waiting, measuring the Council's fear. For them, the destruction of the Trashan fleet was not a triumph. It was only a warning. A message written in fire across the stars. Humanity was not weak. Humanity was not blind. Humanity was ready. In the Council chamber, silence reigned. The speaker finally spoke, his voice low, almost trembling. They were laughing at us. Now they are hunting us. The Council did not answer. Each leader stared into the shadows, imagining black ships waiting there. For the first time in living memory, the galaxy was afraid. And in the deep dark of space, the silent fleet continued to awaken. One by one, ships rose from hidden docks. One by one, engines burned with secret fire. One by one, humanity's shadows grew stronger. The galaxy thought they had seen humanity's power. They had seen nothing yet. The summons came without warning. Every member of the Galactic Council was ordered to gather in the Grand Chamber on Arcturus Prime. Admirals, warlords, ministers, kings, the most powerful rulers of the galaxy all arrived with heavy hearts and restless minds. The rumors were impossible to ignore now. Fleets destroyed. Shadows moving through the void. Human ships that defied scanners. Ships that did not obey the ancient hyperlanes. No one laughed anymore. The chamber was silent as the human ambassador entered. Steps echoed against the marble floor, slow and deliberate. He carried no guards, no attendants, only himself. And yet, to every alien watching, he felt heavier than an army. The Speaker of the Council forced a brittle smile. You asked for this session. Speak, human. Explain your tricks. These rumors of phantom fleets. The ambassador stopped at the center of the hall. His voice was calm, almost gentle. You wanted proof, he said. You will have it. Lifted a small device, placed it on the floor, and pressed a single button. The chamber lights dimmed. Hologram unfolded above them, so vast, so detailed that the aliens forgot to breathe. At first they saw Earth. Blue oceans, white clouds, green lands. Small, fragile, beautiful. Then the view shifted outward. Mars, the moon, the colonies on Titan and Europa. Ordinary, unremarkable. But then, further still, hidden stations inside asteroid belts. Mass yards under gas giants. Massive docks cloaked in dust clouds. Within them ships, hundreds, thousands, black-holed leviathans. Engines glowing with impossible fire, weapons bristling with silent menace. The chamber erupted in gasps. This cannot be. They built this in secret. How many years? How many decades? The human ambassador raised his hand. Silence fell again. These are not rumors, not shadows. This is our fleet. The projection shifted again. Now the aliens saw the battle of the Trashan fleet, the slaughter. The black ships cutting through enemy war cruisers like knives through glass. Every scream, every explosion, every moment. Admirals shivered. Warlords turned pale. Kings looked away. It was undeniable. Humanity had changed the balance of the galaxy. Impossible, whispered the speaker, though his voice trembled. No species has broken the lanes. No species has escaped them. It cannot be done. The human ambassador's calm eyes swept across the hall. "We did not escape them," he said softly. "We transcended them." For a long moment, the chamber was frozen. Then the meaning sank in. FTL. True, free, unchained, faster than light travel. The dream every civilization had chased for millennia. The one barrier that had kept the galaxy trapped in predictable lanes and choke points. And humanity had broken it. Panic broke out. This gives them control of every star. No border will hold. They can strike anywhere. They could already be here. The speaker slammed his claws against the table, trying to restore order. But his voice was drowned by the storm of fear. The galaxy's rulers had always believed themselves untouchable. Now, in one moment, they felt small, vulnerable, hunted. The human ambassador did not raise his voice. He did not need to. "Understand this," he said. "We did not build these fleets for conquest. We built them because you forced our hand. You laughed at us. You threatened us. You sought to chain us." His eyes turned hard. "But humanity does not wear chains." The words hit the chamber like thunder. For the first time in living memory, the council's leaders were silent. They remembered the laughter, the mockery, the arrogance. And now, they looked into the calm eyes of a species that had risen in silence. And they knew humanity was no longer beneath them. Humanity stood above. Then the hologram changed once more. Not fleets, not battles, but stars. Hundreds of stars lit up, one by one, across the map of the galaxy, each marked with the same small white symbol. A human outpost. A human base. Human presence. The galaxy gasped again. They had thought Earth was small, fragile, alone. But humanity had been spreading quietly, far beyond the hyperlanes. Colonies in hidden systems. Mining stations in forgotten sectors. Supply lines no one had ever seen. The truth was undeniable. Humanity was not entering the galaxy. Humanity had already surrounded it. The speaker slumped in his seat, his voice breaking. "All this time, we thought you were weak." The ambassador's calm expression did not change. "All this time," he said, "you thought wrong." The chamber shook not from voices, but from fear. The rulers of the galaxy, once proud and arrogant, now Trey,